My name is MAGEE. I'm a songwriter, musician, very passionate about music and writing. Full-time dad as well, of 3 kids. Music is a big part of our family. We have electric guitar for Oscar, Oisin plays some drums, and Luna's big into singing. Throughout the last couple of years, the different stages of the music they're interested, like Oscar's a massive Metallica fan. He's quite similar to me in his probably inward, whenever he's listening to music, you can just see his face blank, sucked into it. Where Luna is the performer, she's kind of loves dance. It's really nice to be able to play with them. They're very honest as well, to tell you what they like and what they don't like when you're playing and making up songs. I think probably Remember Me, very emotional song. I remember finishing it in Donegal, being just over the moon. I think the reason why probably that maybe for my grandchildren, each verse is a message to each one of my kids as well. I think the whole story around the song is you look at, you know, I might not be physically there, but I will be everywhere. We've an oak forest here at the back of the house, and we spent a lot of time down there. So, you know, you will be able to find me there. There's a lot of hidden meanings that I would like my grandchildren to read through and try find the story around it as well. I started playing music when I was 14, 15 years of age. I learned guitar. Brian Reynolds, local musician, came out to the house. My father always wanted to play music. I played guitar. He sang a lot in pubs and in the choir, but he could never play the guitar. Myself and my brother, we got lessons, we started to play, but I never really got into it. I learned the songs that Brian was teaching, but I really got into music when I went to college and was playing with other people. I then started getting into electronic music, and where it really clicked for me was we were going on a J1 visa to San Francisco in America. And just before I went to get the flight, we had a going away party, and I ended up breaking my arm. So I couldn't get work over in San Francisco, and I ended up bringing my guitar, and it was my scaphoid bone. So I was able to kind of cut the cast a bit, and I could move my fingers, and I bussed on Fisherman's Wharf for 3 months and made a fortune. I think people just took pity on me, you know, this young Irish. I had a really baby, even though I was 21, I had a really baby face. And that's where I learned how to play the harmonica, and I was lucky enough then to play in an Irish pub over there every Sunday evening, and I got to meet loads of different people and met loads of friends over there. So that was the real start. So I travelled and went around travelling the world. I took my guitar, this actual guitar here. I got that one of 16 years of age, attacking mine second hand, and I've wrote all my songs on it. I've brought it to maybe over 26 countries. It's been put together twice. You see here, there's been some work done to the face of it. The neck broke in Australia. So I came back home and I started on a cover band, say the Bowsies, and we've done that for a few years. The cover band was great fun, but I was never a big performer. Do you know, I think, you know, if you think of the show band or even playing in pubs, you need to be a performer. And I did do it, but I just thought it wasn't really authentic to myself. Music was different for me. I really enjoyed the writing element, the learning, actually getting connected to a song. And I'm probably more inward than outward in my music. And I think when you're in a pub, you have to be more outward, and you know, it's more about having fun with the crowd than actually getting connected to the music. My guitar ended up breaking, and it was around COVID, and we were rebuilding our house as well, and our third child was after arriving. And for that year before that, I never picked up the guitar, which was massive for me. Like the music and playing the guitar was a de-stress for me. Like even just releasing thoughts that I didn't do in my everyday life. 1 year into that, I was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer and liver cancer. I think that was a big shock to us because I was relatively healthy, but I was just very busy. That's when the music came back into my life. You know, that really, I started writing again. I remember the day I sent my guitar up to a music shop in Blackrock. Wouldn't charge me anything for it. I remember that day that just going, okay, this is it. I'm going to get out of this. I started writing again, and I used music then, and you know, back to what I really enjoyed was being creative, finding them chords that actually resonated in my body. So throughout that experience, I wrote a couple of songs. I had old songs that I never performed in public before, and I decided to, I got my first clear scan, and I decided to put a band together of friends, and that's where it all started again. You know, I mean, there was a showcase of just my original music, not being afraid to share it, not being afraid to talk, and also talk to the community and maybe give insight You know, sometimes people don't like to talk about cancer and they don't know what to say, and I don't think you can say anything wrong, you know. So it was a way of me sharing the experience with my family and friends and not needing anything back from them. We had an amazing time. It just then grew legs. We then played in the Rammer Theatre, and we decided after that let's record these songs, and we've done that. My relationship with time has changed, maybe more so prioritising what's important to me and to my family and to the music as well. You know, it's being able to say no to things, analyse what is actually important, because we end up filling our diaries with stuff that really isn't important. And I think that was a big learning curve for me. I have been writing throughout the last year, but it's putting time into it and, you know, and enjoying that and giving it space rather than think, because I think sometimes as a musician you kind of get sucked into the product more than the actual creative. You know, you end up selling. You know, you want to sell albums, you want to sell tickets. Even though you enjoy the performance, for me, it's more the creative space, it's more about the writing. It was the first time for us to play shows outside of Ireland, but meeting people outside the country, and I think you could see the people that were living in London from the area, you know, because we'd done some of the original songs, we'd done some old Cavan songs as well, and it was good to get connected to them, and for them to get connected maybe to Cavan as well. And then we went on to the Netherlands. Our main aim of the tour was to go to Julie, my wife's hometown in Denmark. It was great to get to Julie's hometown, to meet friends and family over there that had seen the stories, heard the album online, but to actually be able to perform it in front of them. Because the show, it's not just about the music, there's introductions to the songs, and I think just being there, and even Julie to connect with some of her old friends she hadn't seen in a long time. The same experience that I had got from the early performances. It was really nice. It's great having Julie on the stage with us and in the band. It's fantastic to have her energy on stage. What we do take home, if we're talking about rehearsals or songs, I get very honest feedback, you know, some positive, some negative, and it's great to bounce ideas. And, you know, she's in the experiences as well, as she understands. I've been lucky enough to be clear now for 4 years, and I think, the first album was all, you know, it was all through that experience, and there was a lot of emotion. And I wouldn't say heavy, because for me it was a way of expressing that, and that was very important for me at the time. Not to pull the handbrake up on any expression of fear or of the unknowing. But now I'm in a place that I've been very lucky to get through that experience. I'm looking forward to, you know, moving on from it as well, because it is in the rearview mirror, and it'll always be a part of my music, I think, in some way. You know, that, you know, there's a lot of other stuff that I want to write about as well. There's always ideas that will keep you up at night, and plans, and again, it's trying to put it through that filtering process and prioritising. I love projects, collaborations, getting back into that kind of building songs up and recording. Even with the Cavan songs that we haven't done anything with, that we've kind of put our own twist on some songs, old songs that we've kind of researched and found the melodies for. It's all about time, and it's all about prioritising. So I think if you allow the space then to, I think the next steps will open up. So, but I'm looking forward, very excited about it. And the advice to my younger self, it is a hard one, because I believe that everything happens for a reason, and the experiences that I went through, I don't know if I really wanted to be a full-time musician. I love playing music, and I love community around that, and going to festivals and parties and playing music. Maybe I'm in the back of my mind I did, because when you're writing, I remember I says I don't write music or songs for other people, I write them just for myself. And a few famous musicians said to me, that's not true. That's not true. You always, you know, you do write for yourself, but when you finish a song, it's kind of that, the performance and how that would be received, and the consciousness about that. So maybe in the back of my mind, I had been, I'm not sure, but I think everything that I've learned through life and the different experience where music wasn't part of it, I've learned a lot to bring into my music, into my writing. Songs for me personally have to sit with me for a while, because, you know, you can get into the excitement of writing, and I tend not to finish songs that I'm not excited about in a month or 2 months' time, you know, that, and maybe they tend to be the catchy ones. I do be afraid of the catchy ones, which is probably commercially the wrong thing to be doing. But for me, to have a song long term, it's something that I don't want to be annoyed playing, or I still enjoy it, and it's for the right reasons. Patrick Cavan, I think, said that, you know, you're an apprentice for 19 years, or he was an apprentice for 19 years of writing, so it's just keep doing it. Don't be afraid to perform it in front of people. It was something that maybe that I fell down on, not in the younger years, but maybe midlife. Enjoy it and do it for the right reasons. Where the name Marks McGee and the Hollow Man came from, when you translate the Irish name for Cavan, on Cavan is known as the Holla, or the Hollow. But the main reason was that the house that I'm living in, where we are today, it was my grandmother's house, where my father grew up, and before that it was the O'Reillys, and before that there was known as the Hollamans. The house is around 150 years old, and there was a time in my life that I was going to share 1 or 2 songs, and rather than going under my own name, I was going to hide it under the Hollaman. I think through the whole experience of cancer, and you know, one thing about my music is not to hide, to be fully expressed around it and authentic. So rather than hiding behind the name the Hollow Man, I decided to go Marks McGee and the Hollow Men. Now, the men, I remember discussing this with my wife as well, and we decided with that, but it's something that I regret, because obviously there's a woman in the band as well. I think when you don't know the story behind it as well and how people might perceive it, I've since now decided to change it to Marks McGee and the Holla. Now, nobody ever said it to me, but just I was kind of, you know, I think when you're going through the whole experience of recording and picking names, I think a lot of the time you'd like to change them, or you regret, and probably we didn't leave that name long enough. Yeah, so there's a load of hidden other reasons around it as well. We're officially changing to Marks McGee and the Holla. There's many ways of defining success, and you know, it could be Spotify plays, it could be how many albums, how many performances you play. Although it is amazing to play to big crowds, and you know that your music is connecting with people. For myself, I think being able to finish a song, because some songs you can write in 20 minutes, 30 minutes to just flow, and there's other ones that just, you know, I think when you're in that flow and you don't finish it, it's very difficult to pick it back up. And I remember, and I think the cancer experience, or even that time, and it allowed me the time to focus on some of the older songs. I had all of them with maybe 2-3 verses, but weren't finished, no bridge. So I was able to, I just got connected, I got back in that flow. I think for me, I get the biggest buzz from finishing a song and being happy with it. Yeah, being connected to it, and I always write not to connect with the audience, you know, even though that is lovely, but it's very important to me that I could play a riff for hours until it sits right, you know, and if it doesn't sit right, it's gone, you know.